Hello everyone and welcome to Southern Soul Tarot. My name is Megan and I'm going to be basically doing a quick kind of video of about how I noticed my abilities, um, how did they make me feel at first when I first started noticing them, and how I use them now, and how I deal with those emotions, and how I keep myself kind of centered with that energy to make sure it doesn't intertwine into my everyday life as far as reading for other people or reading cases such as I do on my channel. So one of the main questions that I really get is, when did I first notice? Probably about in my late 20s, honestly, is when I first noticed that all these things that happened as I was a child, middle school age, high school age, they weren't, to me, most people go, they believe, I don't believe in coincidences, I guess is the best way to put it now at this point. At the time I did. I do not now. I mean, not if something repeatedly keeps happening. I was very into astrology also when I was younger, so it wasn't too far fetched for when I was watching a bunch of astrology videos and a tarot video popped up to check it out. So I checked it out, and it was, I was noticing how these readers were pulling cards, and it was resonating with my sign, and even if it was just, pick a card, it would resonate as well. So I went ahead and got a tarot deck for the first time myself at about 26, 27-ish. I believe, no, I'm sorry, 30. So I started looking into it more when I was 26, 27-ish, but I started actually working more with tarot when I was around 30. And then I practiced for a couple years, started to get used to it. And then I started reading for people. I started noticing that it would kind of hit on certain points. A lot of people would be like, wow, that's what's happening. I can't believe you got that. Or I would hear words and say the word, and it would be words that I was not familiar with, words that I did not use, or it would be pictures of locations or people that I did not really know or had never been to. So there really was no way for me to know what that location would have looked like, or that person's loved one's, favorite word that they would use all the time. And so a lot of that stuff started happening during readings. And then so I started bringing in more divination tools with my readings. As far as tarot, I use oracles, pendulums, runes. I've started to look into writing a little bit more, and the main reason why is because the writing kind of, even if I don't actually write, it's more of like a scribbling process now, because I'm just starting it, and it kind of like drowns out whatever I hear in the background, so I can focus on what I'm getting. That's very much, if anybody's ever watched any of my crime videos or readings at all in general, most of the time it sounds like there's a loud fan in the background. That is a white noise machine. The reason I use it drowns out everything. It kind of pulls in certain energies, and it helps me to focus on what's in front of me, and I can pick up and hear and see things much more clearly. So that is why I use that. Some other readers might, there's many things you can use. There's dowsing rods. There's there's sticks. There's all kinds of things you can use as divination tools. But again, mine of choice are basically going to be, I do use crystals too. I will use them to meditate on a certain situation, to kind of help with mediumship, or, to tap into something, a situation. If I can't pull it so much, I will use crystals to also help me do that. So like I said, basically, again, my divination tools of choice is first tarot, and then of course oracle, pendulums, runes, crystals. And like I said, now I've recently started trying just a new technique because I had heard it from other individuals and that it was, helpful to them. So when I first started noticing, well, before I noticed that I was picking up other people's energy, it made me very anxious. So I was very a socially anxious person, in the sense that there was so much energy around me, and I could feel a lot of their feelings. It was like, if one person was angry, then you could feel them angry. If one person was happy, you could feel them happy. If one person was sad, you could feel them sad. So it's like almost being, to me, it was like almost being like in a cafeteria, and you can just, like Charlie's Brown teacher being like, womp, womp, womp. Like you couldn't pick up where it was coming from. And so it was super overwhelming. And so that has kind of always led me to be a very, not like, well, yeah, hermit. I'm a Virgo, so I represent the hermit card. So I spend most of my, days kind of in hermit mode. It makes me comfortable. That's what keeps me comfortable. It keeps me balanced. It keeps me steady. So that is something I like, to have time to myself so that I can think, and things like that. So I will spend a lot of time to myself. and where other people need the socialization, kind of like how this pandemic has helped some people thrive, and others it has brought their kind of emotional feelings very, very much down, and to where they kind of feel down and out completely because they need that interaction, they need that socialization. So that has kind of been hard on them. For me, it's the opposite. I have enjoyed being able to stay home and focus on certain work projects, things like that. So and then also, a lot of people will notice too, when you have gifts, even if you had them before, a lot of times when I say before, traumatic events or even life-altering events that can be big. And I'm talking about like, near-death experiences, divorces, things that can be very traumatic to the soul will a lot of times trigger that ability, because it's almost like it puts you into fight or flight. So therefore, your intuition has to start to kick in. So that is why people, a lot of times, who have had a lot of experiences, traumatic experiences, things like that, or just had a difficult time in life in general, are usually going to be the ones who are going to be a little bit more empathic and are going to be the ones who can kind of connect to you and your feelings and your situation and be able to understand it, not, just like through the mind, but also through the soul. So those are usually a lot of times how that can also trigger your abilities if you had them and you never noticed them before. Grounding and protection is a great way to make yourself feel better. And when I say grounding and protection, like I said, if you're not feeling so great, you're in your gift is giving you anxiety, you're at certain times and you can't shut it off, or you feel you can't shut it off, there's a great technique of almost picturing a faucet over you, and you can kind of picture this water flow, and if the water flow would be the information coming in. So if it's too much, you can turn the knob down, and if you need more, you can turn it up. But you don't have to constantly have this overflow of emotions, and that can help you out in public as well. So that way you don't have to go into public and feel all these emotions and get really, really overwhelmed, because that can keep a lot of people who are empathic kind of to themselves at times. Not all. For me, like I said, I am very much an earth sign, so I like to be at home and kind of work on things. But again, so but that for me is something I have with the quarantine. It was something that I wanted to kind of do, was work on certain projects, so it gave me that opportunity to do so. So basically, that is just kind of how my experience started. I was in my mid-20s. I got interested into, I've always been interested in astrology, but I got pulled to tarot, started practicing it myself, started practicing on other individuals, started noticing that most people, were very happy with the feedback, and then they started referring me other people. I started getting very many readings booked, and then I started kind of doing crime cases, because I kind of had also mentioned in the past, it was something that I felt like I was always interested in crime cases, so I figured if you could read a person, then you should be able to read the case. So that is why I choose to do crime cases as well. It kind of gives me answers to something. So that is just the curious side of me, that likes to look into things like that. But again, a birth chart is a great thing to get to kind of also see where you're at, why you're here, what your challenges are, things like that. Astro Ascension Tarot on here does that. I highly recommend him. But like I said, again, that will also let you know which areas you can work on, because to me, even when I do readings and just say somebody gets a reading that they really are just like, that didn't sound positive for me, or that's not what I wanted to happen, or that's not my ideal situation. Well, with the reading, for me, there are certain parts of the past you can't change, and certain things that are going on, but you can change and manifest and move things around and make your life better. You just have to believe that can happen for you. It is a very much dream it and you will receive it type of energy. So if you get a reading or something like that, or and it's something that in the future is showing that you really don't want it to go that way, that to me is a blueprint step right there. As far as a reading, things can be moved around as far as a personal reading. So just say like you get a personal reading, and I'm saying this just as for example, because a lot of people will go, oh, well, tarot reader, readers will kind of scare you into coming back to them. I don't believe in that. I think that's very ridiculous. You have free will, so you can move things in your earthly realm and manifest whatever you want. So if you get a reading and say, in the near future, you want something to go a little bit differently for your work or your family, this is a blueprint. So now you know what you're looking at, and now you know how to manifest and move these things in the earthly realm the way that you need to get what you want and what you need for you and your family. The only suggestion I give with that is always do it with good intentions and goodwill, because if you do it for the wrong reasons, then it's not going to benefit you or the people that you're, being your family or whoever you're doing it for. So always just make sure when you are manifesting things into your life and you're adding things or people, items, material things, jobs, make sure it is for you and your greater good and your family's greater good. Because when we pass over, whatever we created in this life that is our best thing is what we will see and what our heaven will be. So whatever we live it like here, whatever is your heaven here, whatever makes you the happiest is what your heaven will be like there. So you want to make sure that it's a place that you can live for eternity. So make your heaven amazing for like you, your family, your children's children, your pets, everything. So, you just want to make sure to live the best life you can with good intentions for you and everyone around you. So that is going to be my answer as far as how I stepped into my abilities, what my main tools are, how I deal with them, what my suggestion would be. But again, I do highly suggest, again, getting a birth chart. Again, his name is Astro Ascension Tarot on here, and he does an hour birth chart reading, and it's amazing. So, and it answered lots of questions that I had, which I think it would probably do for many. So, that's something I would look into if you're interested in that. But again, I want to thank y'all for y'all's questions, and I will be doing another video pretty soon about also how other things that affected my abilities and what strengthened them. As far as also, I do have, an autistic son. He is 13 years old, so that also had taught me very much how to deal with somebody else's emotions and connect to somebody empathically without being able to use those words at certain times. So if that's something y'all are interested in, like I said, I would really like to maybe make a video about that, and we can touch base with that. But if y'all have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section. And then also, if you have your own experiences that you'd like to share or just want to compare, you can also leave that in the comment section, chat with each other, weigh in, and just see everybody's experiences and see, compare again to one another and see what you get as far as if your experience has been similar to somebody else's or very unique. So I want to thank you for y'all's questions. Like I said, y'all have a great day. And like I said, if this is y'all's first time here and y'all are interested in hearing more of this kind of conversation and y'all like to join us in the future, we greatly appreciate it if you hit that subscribe bar, notification bell, and it will let you know whenever we upload videos like this in the future. So you have a great one, and I will talk to you soon.